Are you guys ready for all your attacks to be evaded? Neither am I. What's up, Knights of X, and welcome to the best 5v5 teams for the month of March/April for the 5v5 Grand Arena season. And guys, if you guys thought 3v3 was going to be pretty interesting, 5v5 is going to be way more interesting because now we're able to finally pull off some of these really cool, crazy combinations with these level 9 Datacrons, and we weren't really able to fully utilize them in 3v3, but now luckily we can in 5v5, and I can't wait to show you guys this season of what we've come up with and cool strategies and counters that we're going to use against some of these Galactic Legends teams. But it's going to be fun, guys. If this is your first time tuning into one of these types of videos, I like to break up my teams into 3 different categories. I like putting the best defensive teams, offensive teams, and then a category I call Flex, where this category is where all the teams listed can be used on either offense or defense, depending on your strategy, what your opponent puts down, or what your intent is for the team. So you're going to see a bunch in the Flex category because there's a bunch of teams where you can kind of put where you want, offense or defense. It's personally up to you guys on how you want to use them. And throughout the season, you're going to see them both everywhere. So guys, with that being said, let's start this video into the defensive teams. To start out the list with the best 5v5 defensive teams, guys, we obviously have to talk about the brand new Galactic Legend, Ahsoka Tano, guys. Ahsoka is a very strong team, especially paired with Ezra, guys. You do not want to put your Ahsoka down without Ezra. It's going to significantly weaken the team dramatically. And Ezra is now fixed, so his backup plan is going to be causing a ton of issues. Leia might have a hard time against Ahsoka now. Probably still winnable, but the RNG is increased and the win rate is going to drop. I guarantee you that. If you have a Relic 9 Ezra, guys, you're barely going to be able to hit him. He has increased invasion chance. 3 Omicron Ezra is going to be no joke. The only thing you have to be a little concerned about is the Magma Trooper cheese, guys. If your opponent has a Relic 5 Magma Trooper and has the Datacron, and you're worried about that cheese coming off, it's not a super high win rate, but it can work. But if you guys want to stop that kind of cheese, I recommend taking out either General Syndulla or Huiyang for a character like Malik, Nest, or even Baze Malbus can shut down the Magma Trooper cheese, in case you guys are wondering on how to stop that. But for the most part, this is going to be your staple Ahsoka team. You're not going to want to set her without Ezra. Really going to be tough for Grand Arena this season. And that leads to where I have some interesting choices for Rey, guys. And I know what you're going to say to me, oh, Rex, you released a video with Santa Stars and Han Solo and Chewbacca in that team, and it's killing GL as well. And for Grand Arena, I found a better strategy that doesn't necessarily break up some teams. And I really want to utilize the Smuggler Evasion level 6 with Rey, guys. So I'm going to show you some 2 options for Rey, depending on where you are in the game. But this first Rey team is going to be Rey, Ben Solo, Han, Chewbacca, and Enfys Nest, guys. And that's going to be my starting Rey team for the first week of Grand Arena. The point is that we have a Smuggler Evasion level 6 and a very strong Enfys Nest 9. And when Han Solo takes his bonus turn, Nest is going to be assisting, dealing so much damage, dealing expose. This could definitely cause some issues, and I do think that this will shut down the traditional Starkiller team. Starkiller only has 2 attacks that can't be evaded, and that's his first special and his second special. So all the other characters that, like Emperor Palpatine, Mara Jade, are not going to be landing any debuffs if they can't hit them. So Starkiller is only going to be able to deal damage during his turn, and it's not going to be enough to get through them, guys. So I do think this is going to be really difficult for a traditional Starkiller team. I think your best bet is going to be to add Malicos, because Malicos' attacks can't be evaded. And in the previous Grand Arena seasons a while back, it was a different level 6, but I did remember my Malicos losing to this specific lineup way back in the day. But I do think Malicos, with his attacks not being evaded, will have a decent shot at this team, but it will not be guaranteed. So really highly recommending this Rey squad if you guys have the Nest level 9 and you do want to utilize your different teams. If you guys don't have the Enfys Nest level 9 and you don't have Ahsoka, the team that I will be recommending is Rey, Ben, Ezra, L337, and Barriss. And the reason is that L337 is a smuggler, guys. The evasion level 6 on a pre-taunting tank that has taunt. Indestructible, very, very difficult to get through. Barriss is unique, very strong with that extra healing when you're crit. Ezra is in there, and he's just an absolute broken character. One of the best characters in this game, without a doubt. So these 2 variations of Rey will be extremely strong. They're both utilizing the Smuggler level 6, and it's just an absolute pita to get through, guys. So that's going to be my recommendations for Ahsoka and the different Rey lineups. Now we're going to get into the Hug Cartel stuff, guys, and this is where it gets pretty interesting because there are many different options that you can do here. You can either do a Hug Cartel level 6 with like a Mob Enforcer level 9, which in my opinion, out of all of them, is going to be your best bet for 5v5. I think Mob Enforcer, can deal a lot of damage and ramp. There's a dark side buff on a basic, and a Mob Enforcer's assisting. Her damage actually ramps up pretty high, surprisingly. She hits like a wet noodle without the Datacron, but if you have the dark side buffs on a basic, you have her level 9 ability, and the stacking offense for the Hug Cartel 6, you're going to be surprised. I've seen Mob Enforcer hit for like 100k on a basic. So do not underestimate the Mob Enforcer level 9. I do think that you can set Jabba with the Hug Cartel 6 and Mob Enforcer, or the Smuggler Evasion level 6, because Jabba and Skiff-Guard Lando are both smugglers, guys. And if that's the case, you'll take out Mob Enforcer. But the reason I'm putting Mob Enforcer here, because I think that is going to be your best bet for Jabba this season. So really keep in mind on what you're going to do here. This will shut down a lot of teams. I think Lord Vader will still get through this with no problem. But I think Aphra is going to get shut down. I think Kenobi is going to get shut down. And yeah, it's going to be a very expensive counter to deal with Jabba, guys. So keep in mind, Jabba this season is making a huge defensive comeback. So be on the alert for Jabba. And guys, this one is going to be a little bit more catered to the guys that wailed or used their horde on Mercenary Hunter. Baylan with Mercenary Hunter is going to be an absolute unit on defense. This will be one of the strongest defensive teams in Grand Arena this season, in my opinion. I don't know if it's going to shut down Inquisitors, but I was able to beat so many Galactic Legends on offense in Squad Arena without any of the Omicrons turned on. And I had multiple reports of my Shardmates saying, I cannot beat your team with multiple Galactic Legends, guys. So I'm really recommending, if you have that Mercenary level 9, you're going to want to put it on a Baylan team. It's going to be so difficult to get through. Might have to use Kylo, honestly, or something else. We're going to see if Inquisitors can do it with their level 9 Death Mark. But guys, really keep an eye on this team. It's going to be an absolute defensive staple if you have it. If you don't have the Mercenary Hunter, Kron, or the team, you're going to see Baylan later on in this video, and he's still going to be pretty useful. And that leaves to the next team, guys. And you guys know me. If you guys have seen my Grand Arena videos and all my streams, this team can cause so much annoyance. Adding Echo in here shuts down so many counters or just makes them way more difficult. Like, I remember using Inquisitors against Queen Amidala in 5v5 and having no issues at all. Once they put Echo in, I lost, guys. Echo is an absolute unit with that daze and the heal immunity. Really caused issues for that team. And it even caused issues for the Great Mother's team. If their Echo's fast and starts with that daze, you can't do that mass swarm on Padawan Obi-Wan. The counter is shut down. So I do think Queen Amidala will be an absolute defensive staple this season. And especially with Echo in there, it'll shut down a ton of counters. Yes, I know Queen Amidala does really well on offense, but if you don't have the right team or you force your opponent to use Bane, that is a win for you. So keep that in mind, guys. Queen Amidala is going to be really difficult to get through. Then, guys, that leaves to Saw. And Saw is always going to be a annoying, difficult defensive team in this game, especially with the Omicron turn on, guys. I've slowly changed my opinion. I'm almost thinking that Saw is a essential Omicron to Kyber because of how good this team is. That Omicron can shut down a ton of stuff. It can easily stonewall your opponent. Tied in with Luthen, and then we have a Mercenary level 6 for Kyle Katarn, and even the Cara Dune level 9 with the stealth and the 100% protection recovery. This is going to be a pain in the butt. 100% a pain in the butt, because you don't want to overkill it, but you also want to do enough so you don't drop a battle. So Saw paired with Luthen and Kyle with that Mercenary level 6 is going to be really difficult. And if you don't have the Mercenary level 6, you still have that Rebel Riposte or the Rebel buffs on the level 6. Tied with Luthen and the Spawn, can hit pretty hard. So guys, another very strong defensive team is going to be Saw Luthen. And then here, guys, I know everyone's saying that Finn Zori is losing their viability, but I disagree. I have seen this team win me Grand Arenas actually quite recently. And with the Smuggler level 6, they're not going to be able to hit Zori, guys. So if you don't have a team with a debuff, you're not hitting her. You can time out on just Zori. So you think you're bringing in a strong team, blah, blah, blah. And you get stonewalled on the Evasion Zori. So guys, expect Finn to be a very annoying defensive team, especially with that Evasion level 6. That is what I'm recommending for this team. really difficult to get through with that evasion. And also that turn meter in the beginning. If you have a 25% turn meter in the beginning with a fast Finn, guys, mine is extremely fast. Mine's at 358 speed. You tie that in with Zori's Unique and a 25% turn meter cron, you're going to outspeed a lot of non-GL teams, guys. So no joke. Do not underestimate. You need to be very smart with this team. Then that leaves to Trench, guys. And is Trench the best team in the game? Absolutely not. But it is still a very strong team in Grand Arena because if you place Trench in a front wall situation, sometimes your opponent does not know what to use against Trench that's considered overkill or not. And most of the time, they're going to use a team that they try to get away with and it ends up failing or it's bad banners. So I do think Trench is way better off on defense than offense this season. Can throw off your opponent, makes them very difficult to think about what they want to use. So expect a lot of confusion or giving your opponent a hard time with Trench. Then, guys, Tuskens. Always have to include Tuskens because Tuskens are a kind of team that have certain counters that are required. No, they're not as difficult as they, to get through in 3v3 as they are in 5v5. But still, very annoying. They still have a Datacron. Cannot underestimate them. And Tusken Warrior can hit pretty hard, guys. So Tuskens are still a defensive team in this game. And then I'm going to include this in here, guys. I know this is not catered to everyone. It's not even catered to me. But I am going to include the new Bad Batch because we don't know how they're going to be with Crosshair. We know he hits like an absolute truck with his ramping, whenever he gets to attack and actually land his attacks, he hits like an absolute truck. Paired with the Omicron on Omega, this could be a pretty tough team. And they have, I believe, 2 GAC Omicrons with Crosshair and Omega. So expect big things from this team. You're going to see some of the whales in Kyber 1 with it. So we got to figure out what to do against it. And there's not a lot of knowledge, so we need to be prepared. But that is going to be the defensive teams for 5v5, guys. We're now going to get into the offensive teams. Moving on to the best offensive teams, guys. You know it. I have to start the list with Bane. Bane is just an absolute staple on offense in this game. The most difficult thing is going to be, what do I find the most value with taking or using my Bane? You're going to see a lot of players using Ahsoka against Ahsoka, Sith Eternal, Bane combined. That's why I included both of them here. But Sith Eternal on his own is still fine. He can take out a bunch of teams in solos. Even pair him with some Night Sisters if you want. But for the most part, Bane on his own is going to take out Queen teams, take out Reva teams. Very strong. But if you have to get through a GL Ahsoka with Ezra, you got to bring in Sith Eternal or Bane combined. That's going to be the best way to get rid of that team. Or maybe with Kylo, we have to see. But yeah, these two always are going to be an offensive team in my opinion. And that leaves to this, guys. I do think that Leia will have a better shot on offense than defense this season. She seems to have a lot of counters. And I think her use is better on offense. She can take out a lot of teams. This team in particular can be used as a certain cheese with Jyn and Admiral Raddus because of the ability for Jyn not to go down with if Admiral Raddus is available or still active. You put your whole team under stealth. They all have to focus target on Jyn, and it can help you take out a bunch of teams. This could possibly help you take out Ahsoka this season. We're going to have to see how it is with the backup plan, guys. Everything's different. But if you're going to do it, this is the team to do it because of that cheese mechanic. So that's why I'm putting Leia on offense instead of flex this season, just specifically for that. And she seems to have a lot of counters on defense, so we don't want her to get taken out by weak stuff that I'll show you later on. So guys, Leia's going to remain on offense. And that leaves the next thing, guys, is going to be Kenobi. And in my opinion, Kenobi is better off on offense this season because he doesn't have a very strong Datacron set to help him that much. In the past, we've had Galactic Republic OP ones and stuff like that, or can't be revived by a Scoundrel or Unaligned Force user. The only thing that's really benefiting this team is going to be the Unaligned Force user bonus turn and then the Cat level 9. Compared with that, I mean, the Cat level 9 is nothing crazy, but that bonus turn can definitely cause some issues, but not enough to be taken off of defense. I think JMK is going to find way more use on offense this season. We got to see if he can take out Jabba. I think he's going to struggle against Jabba, but there are other teams that he can take out, and he's got great banner recovery. So, in my opinion, Kenobi's going to be better off on offense. You don't want to lose to an Inquisitor team or a Baylan. Then Jedi Master Luke, guys. And Jedi Master Luke is going to be very strong this season because we have the level 9 for Jedi Knight Cal. And he's going to be able to get his one-shot ability a lot quicker. You could take out Lord Vader's. You could take out Leia's. You could take out Baylan's, probably. I don't know about the Hunter Mercenary one. We're going to have to see. But good banner recovery, good stuns, very strong team. I just think that Kenobi, that Master Luke on defense is not super viable, so always want to use him on offense. And that leaves to the next one, guys, and that's a regular Starkiller team. I don't think this team is going to be good for Rey, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to want to use Starkiller for Rey, but will be very good against a Resistance team. It's got good banner recovery with the Starkiller ult. Very fast with Mara Jade. I think Starkiller is way better off on offense than defense. In defense, he's going to have a lot of vulnerabilities, in my opinion. He can be soloed by Sith Eternal sometimes if you mark the right characters. He can lose the CLS even. So Starkiller is way more valuable on offense for me. Then that leaves this, guys. And I know you're thinking, I don't see Bam in this team. And you're going to find out later in the video why. But my recommendation for offense for Bo, if you're going to utilize the strategy later on, is going to be slotting in Armorer instead of Beskar Armor Mandalorian. And you'll see why. I think it's worth it in the end. But I still think that Bo will take out plenty of teams without OG Bam or without Beskar Mando. Armor is great with the assist for all the Mandalorians. And then also the 3 stacks of Beskar is very strong against a lot of teams, can save you. So I still think the team will be viable without him. Will it be as strong? Definitely not, but you can still take out teams like Lord Vader, so no worries there. And then this team, guys, this is interesting because we now are slotting in HK47. There's an HK47 level 9 that I do think is going to be really strong, and he's going to gain a bunch of speed with all the droid allies. He inflicts a unresistible evasion down, a AoE fear on that tenacity down ability. Really, really strong level 9. Not going to lie. I think this is going to make Aphra viable this season. I hope it allows her to take out Jabba. I do not know for sure. We're going to have to find out. And if you don't have the HK47 Kron, you still have the BT1 level 9, which is also really tough. Inflicts a ton of armor shred, ramping damage. Keep an eye on this team, and I think it's going to be way better on offense than defense. Then the last team, guys, for offense, and I'm going to recommend Night Sisters because Night Sisters are actually really good at banner recovery now because of Marin. And this can help you take out some teams that you can't really normally get through. You can kind of cheese it out with that Zombie Revive and Oldaka. And then you have that Omicron on Marin where you can just apply tons of Plague. Night Sisters are always going to be a really strong offensive team. They have too many counters on defense, but they have good banner recovery, so that's why I'm including them on this list for GAC. And guys, that is going to wrap up the offensive category, and now we're going to get into the really fun and heart of this video, which is going to be the flex category. I have a bunch of cool teams that I want to talk about, so let's get into the flex. Okay, guys, so the first team for the flex category is going to be the team that I made a video on with a slight adjustment just to make it a little bit more usable in Grand Arena without breaking up 3 teams. I saw a ton of comments saying like, oh, this is amazing counter, good job, but you're breaking up 3 different teams. So I was like, let me try to find a way to make it work without breaking up so many teams and also making another strong team with Rey. And guys, that's going to be the Mandalorian Beskar armor with Quill, IG-11, Sanastaros, and Dash. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, guys, IG-11 and Quill are not smugglers. They're not going to get the level 6. Well, guess what, guys? You don't need it for them. They're there for the turn meter, the AoE ability to ramp up your Beskar armor stacks or your Whistling Birds. And then you have the other 2 characters, which are smugglers, and they're going to get the evasion. And you have the OP Santa level 9. Guys, this team exactly right here, I could take out Ahsoka. I could take out Leia. I could take out Lord Vader, Jabba. This team is disgusting, and I'm putting them in flex because I think they'll have defensive viability as well. I tried using a GL against one of these teams just to test out against it, and I got destroyed. I got one-shot by Bam. If you have them correctly turn-ordered with, Mando going first, they do the AoEs, he gets 20 stacks, you're one-shotting entire teams. I one-shot Ahsoka in 10 seconds from just doing the correct turn order. I really do believe that this is going to be a really good combo, guys. This is a very fun team to use and expect it this GAC season. And that way I can put my Han Solo and Chewbacca with my Rey team and create another very strong team on defense. So, guys, that's what's going to be my recommendation for Sana this season, and it's going to be really fun. The next one, guys, is a kind of a, I don't know yet kind of thing, but I do think it's going to be pretty fun. We got some sort of, playtesting on the server with, Old Republic against Gas. But with the Omicron with Zalbar, this could maybe, pull off some stuff on offense and defense. There's no knowledge about it as of right now in Grand Arena Live. So if you put it on defense, your opponent's not going to have a lot of data to use, and they're not going to know what the best counter is. So in the first week, if you want to throw this team on defense, absolutely fine. But I also think they're going to be pretty strong on offense. This Omicron is actually going to be more surprising to people than I think. So expect it to do really good stuff. You have the Jolie Bindo revives and everything. There is a mission level 9. It's nothing crazy, but we also have a mercenary level 6. So 2 of these characters are going to hit pretty hard. Expect this team to do pretty surprising things. And guys, that is going to leave to my next team, which is going to be the Balin guys. And I know I have 2 different categories for Balin, but I wanted to kind of exclude the ones that have whaled for Balin and the ones that don't. So the 5th that I'm including for the ones that don't have the Mercenary Hunter is going to be Kira, guys. And the Kira level 9 is actually really strong. It inflicts protection disruption, gives your team a bunch of health steal up. I don't know the exact wording right now, but I do know it's very good. She gets 2 turn damage immunity in the beginning, I believe. So she's not going to go down very quickly. This could possibly shut down Inquisitors. We're going to have to see. But guys, I think if you're going to use Balin this season, if you want to take out a ATF team, bring him on offense. If you want to put him on defense for a strong defensive viability team, absolutely perfect. And that brings me to another point that I want to bring up, is that you're noticing there's not a lot of Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum teams on defense. And that is specifically because, as strong as that Datacron is, it opens up that team to be Balined. And you don't want the team to be Balined because it becomes an easy counter. So you'll see later on in this list, guys, I'm recommending ATF on offense because I don't want it to be Balin food. So just before I get into the comments, I don't see Ahsoka ATF at all. That's the reason why, guys. But yeah, this team is going to be really strong for a flex in the flex category. And that leaves to one of my favorite characters in the game, one of my favorite teams right now, SLKR with Darkside Ray. And I am recommending First Order Stormtrooper as the tank because you're going to want your crew with your Malicos team. And also, you're able to attack more often with the Stormtrooper as your tank than crew because your Kylo could be called to assist. This will be tough on defense, but also will be really good on offense as well. That's why I can't really pinpoint where I want to put Kylo. He really could be used in both. He could take out Kenobis. He can lose very easily. So this is no joke of a team. Be prepared to bring something good against it. And then, guys, Great Mothers. Great Mothers are not going away anytime soon. They're really strong on defense and offense. Me, personally, I love being able to take out a Queen Amidala team with them if they don't have Echo. They have so much versatility. They're so difficult to take out. In 5v5, you can take them out pretty easily with a Sith Empire team if the RNG is in your favor. But if your opponent doesn't have a full-blown Sith Empire team and they're splitting it up, they're going to have to figure out something else. Great Mothers are always strong. They can take out a bunch on offense, so expect them on both. And guys, that leaves Lord Vader. And I'm putting Lord Vader in the flex category instead of the defense category because if you sneak a Lord Vader in the back and your opponent used a Bo-Katan Mandalore team against, like, maybe, let's say a Saw or maybe like a Traya team or something like that, or something weird, your opponent could get stuck. It's not like he's an absolute go-to, easy win. There is still the Piet level 9, so if you play the matchup incorrectly, he's going to revive the team, and then they're going to hit hard. So guys, Lord Vader is back in flex. I personally will be using him on offense because of Jabba. I need him to be my go-to Jabba counter this season. But if they have a high tenacity Chrysanthemum and strong level 3s and 6s, it could be pretty difficult for any team. But yeah, Lord Vader for me will be personally on offense, but he will have use on both. And that leaves to the next team, and that's Inquisitors, guys. I think Inquisitors are really good at taking out a bunch of teams. I think they're also really strong on defense. Not a lot of players are using Captain Rex with Phoenix anymore, so you're going to see Captain Rex on defense, and you're going to have to figure out another counter for Reva. There's not that many without it being complete overkill, or those teams are already needed for other counters, like a Unaligned Force User team is used for Rey. So Inquisitors are always going to be a go-to Kyber 1 team. No matter where you put them, they will find its use. So you guys figure out how you want to use them, but that's going to be the Inquisitor team you want to use. And that leaves to the Unaligned Force User team, guys. And this is where I'm personally going to be using my ATF because like I said earlier, I do not want my defensive teams to be weaker because it'll open up Balin. So I will be using my ATF personally on offense, but if you guys did put him on defense, even with an underlined Force User team, I think Balin against an underlined Force User team is a fair trade-off. So if they did end up using Balin against this, you're absolutely fine. It's still really strong. So, but me personally, I'm going to try it on offense for the first week. But still, even if you put it on defense with a Fulcrum, at least it's not destroying one of your GLs. Like if you put ATF with Leia or Ahsoka or Rey, you don't want that team to be taken out by Balin. But if they bring in Balin against your Seer team, that's more of an even trade-off. So that's why I'm putting it here, guys. And I still think it's going to be a very strong team. General Grievous. General Grievous is going to be pretty difficult this season and pretty good on offense because we have a droid level 6 and also paired with that Stap Omicron. Really difficult. They have the dark side buffs in the basics, so they're going to hit even harder. Even the Terminator level 6 is really strong. It's going to be no joke. Very strong. The Stap level 9 also removes Terminator. It's not irresistible or unresistible, so it's not as strong as it could be, but still, removing Terminator on a target is a strong mechanic, so expect this on both offense and defense. Malgus. Malgus, another one of my favorite teams in the game. Malgus is viable on defense this season because of the tank revive level 3. I do think that Jedi Knight Cal Kestis will still get through this, but Malgus is also so good on offense. He could take out so many teams. He can even take out a Reva team. He could take out so many different options. He's always going to be strong. Expect big things from Malgus this season. He'll always have use. Then Traya. And Traya is a weird one because Traya is also a team that is so good at taking out so much on offense. But if you put him on defense, it opens up your opponent to have to think because there's not many non-GL counters to Traya. Not many at all. Most of the time, you're going to see your opponent use Sith Eternal or Kylo. And Kylo with Darkseid Ray against the Traya is not a good way to utilize that team. So you really need to figure out what the best way to take out Traya is. But she can take out Gungans, guys. She can take out so many different options. So really expect big things from Traya. She's always going to be a viable team no matter where you put her. Then Gas. Gas is one of those teams where he's good everywhere, but the problem is if you bring him on offense, guys, that banner recovery is bad. And a majority of the time, you're going to see it. Matchups are very much determined by your banners. So if you win with Gas and you're getting 53 banners, that's not worth it. He's really, used if you're in a pinch where you don't have many teams available and you got to get through a very tough team. You want to use Gas on offense. But on defense, he can absolutely cause some annoyance for your opponent. He's good at stealing banners. He has his get up and get down mechanic. He forces your opponent to sometimes use a Sith Eternal. And if you have a really good armor Pencron, he can actually shut down Sith Eternal. So, Gas is really good. No matter where you use him, going to be very strong. Then we have Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. And Dark Trooper Moff Gideon is really good. He has the Imperial Trooper level 6. Can take out a bunch on offense. Can actually shut down regular counters on defense. I've tried Rogue One against this team, and it actually gets killed sometimes if Death Trooper just guns down your Raddus. So, I do think Dark Trooper Moff Gideon will have viability on defense if you use him there, but also, really important to note is that Moff Gideon has that Demoralize on the level 6, or on his unique, and that's going to shut down the evasion level 6. So, that's why I'm putting him in both. As much as viability he'll have on defense, he might have way more on offense because of that Demoralize, guys. That's going to be needed for those crazy annoying evasion level 6s. So, guys, really keep that in mind. Then Gungans, guys. We cannot dispute Gungans because Gungans are very annoying no matter what you do. You're probably going to end up using Traya or JML if they're on defense, but they could also take out a surprising amount on offense. They can somehow take out Balin. I think it's a little bit high RNG dependent, but they can really take out a Balin team. Good at taking out Grievous, good against Separatist. I think they'll be viable no matter where you put them. If you have Gungans on your roster, place them on defense or use them on offense. And guys, this should not be in the flex. This is more on the offense list. It's going to be the Rogue One team. I threw them in there because they could take out like an Iden team if your opponent sets it. They got good banner recovery. Their viability is definitely going down. This should be more of an offensive team, not flex. But if you're not using Leia with them, you might as well create a separate team and take out one of those annoying Empire teams, or sometimes even Tuskens if you get it to work. But yeah, you want them on offense instead of defense, without a doubt. And the last team to wrap up this category, guys, is going to be a Omicron Qui-Gon Jinn team with Kelleran Beq and Mace as the other two. This team is still very strong, no matter where you put them. It can shut down Bad Batch because of the Kelleran Beq. You can also take out a bunch. It kind of forces your opponent to have to use a pretty strong team, and it can definitely steal some banners, guys. So Omicron Qui-Gon Jinn is still viable in Kyber 1 today. It was actually the first Omicron that I applied on my free-to-play account a couple weeks ago, and I can't wait to use it in 5v5. So guys, that is going to wrap up the best teams for March and April. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know what you guys think about my list. What do you agree with? What do you not agree with? Do you have any questions? Leave it all in the comment section down below. I can't wait to hear from you guys. But if you did like it, smash that like button. And if you're not already, subscribe to the channel to become an Adder Vex. And I'll see you guys in the next video. May the Force be with you all.